Welcome to Search Committee Training Videos, home of 20-minute video presentations designed to provide essential skills to search committee chairs and HR professionals. Hi, I'm Chris, the Search Guy. I've spent the last 20 years perfecting the art of the search in 4 different institutions. I've served on hundreds of search committees, have helped to hire over 20 college presidents, have trained more than 1,000 higher ed professionals, and I've consulted with dozens of institutions on the process. I'm also the author of 2 search committees related books. Today's session is designed to teach you how to orient committees to their responsibilities. This is a complimentary presentation with the Training the Search Committee episode, which will follow. But here we provide committees with an overview of the process and associated policies and procedures. In the training episode, we'll teach you how to instruct committees to properly screen, evaluate, and interview candidates. These 2 programs, along with a good charge from the appointing authority, gets the committee off to an excellent start. Let's begin. How do you know whether the committee is prepared to conduct a rigorous and fair search? Which members have experience and which are new to the process? What does the committee need to know to do its work well? The answers to these questions lie in addressing the who, what, when, where, and why, as well as the how of search committee orientation. Let's take each of these questions in an order that presents the materials in the most effective manner. First, let's finish answering the question of why search committee orientation is so vitally important. Why? Search committee orientation jumpstarts the process. It's the official beginning of the search process. It also ensures that the committee performs its work in the most efficient, effective manner possible with the greatest economy. That is, with the least amount of effort, time, and energy spent in the process. In short, they perform their work well. It also ensures that the committee does not make costly mistakes and go about doing things that is not in the best interest of the organization. And finally, the why of why search committee orientation is so vitally important is because it's about quality assurance. It's assuring the committee performs its work well. Who should conduct search committee orientation? Usually it's an ex officio member, a person who serves on the committee but does not vote. They're there by virtue of their office or position, such as an HR professional or diversity or equal opportunity officer within the organization. In some organizations, you also have diversity advocates, which is a layman or layperson who has advanced training or experience in the search process or the employment process, as well as more deeper understanding and experience and training regarding equal opportunity laws and ways and techniques of ensuring that bias does not creep into the process. Still, in other organizations, you might have an assistant or associate provost, the appointing authority, her or himself. That is the person such as a vice president or dean who charges a committee and asks someone to chair the committee on their behalf, or trainers or consultants who are external to the committee who can come in to provide assistance and training on how to perform the work of a committee well. Any of these members are professionals who have a more sophisticated or deeper understanding about the committee process, and they're there to offer their expertise to the committee. How and where should search committee orientation be delivered? It, of course, can be delivered in person at the first committee meeting. It can be delivered in person at its scheduled training sessions that might happen at the beginning of an academic year or at different times throughout the year. Orientation can be provided online, such as through videos such as these, through some sort of e-course, or through some sort of training manual, any kind of policies or procedures that are documented for committee members to access when they might need it. As noted a moment ago, a best practice approach is to provide orientation at the first meeting of a committee so that the information is fresh and on their mind. A short 15 or 20-minute session will do. You can also provide it prior to the first meeting, of course, through the training sessions we described earlier, or through some sort of video or e-course or online training module. We've talked about the who should conduct the training, when, where, as well as why, and we've talked about how the training should be conducted. Now let's focus on the meat of the program, which is about what are the topics that should be covered in search committee orientation. The topics are the following 5: the members' duties and responsibilities, the employment policies that govern the search committee process, as well as all employment matters for an organization, legal issues, diversity and equal opportunity policies, as well as any institution-specific items that should or may affect the conduct of the process. Let's detail each of these 5 areas. First, let's talk about employment policies. In any organization, you have policies that govern, such as faculty legislation, collective bargaining agreements, and sometimes you have deeply embedded traditions and practices that are specific to an institution that govern how you might go about conducting a search, such as we start all searches with a charge from the appointing authority as a matter of course, when in some organizations that may or may not happen. You have general employment policies such as promotion policies, how we handle and manage internal candidates. Do we give them an advantage in the process? Are internal candidates who are minimally qualified guaranteed an interview by policy? What do we do about interim placements? Do interim professionals who serve allowed to compete for an opening, or do interims by virtue of policy are forbidden from applying for the permanent vacancy? Reference and background checks are also other examples of employment policies that may govern the activities of a committee. Next, let's talk about administrative policies, things such as how we spend money for travel. Are certain modes of transportation forbidden? Can you take a cab, or can you take a rental car? Relocation policies that might affect people coming to apply or interview for different positions. Budgets that are available for search committee work. All of these are activities and areas that are governed by policy, and search committees are wise to get an orientation to these before they begin their work. Next, let's talk about diversity and equal opportunity policies that affect the search process. Many organizations today have strategic initiatives around diversifying their faculty and staff, and these will impact the work of the committee. It's great for the committee to get an orientation at the beginning of the process, as well as there may be some legal issues such as affirmative action and equal opportunity plans that are required for institutions that have government contracts, and they will certainly dictate how a committee conducts itself. You may have some mission specific elements for your organization, such as in your mission statement and your approach to education. You may have things such as we specialize in international education, and therefore a multicultural and multidimensional aspect may be germane to how we work with others. And you may also have state laws and other requirements that impact how you treat people from different protected classes, whether you're talking about race, gender, national origin, sexual orientation, veteran status, marital status, or many other categories of protected classes by different municipalities, state laws might also come into play for search committees. So therefore, it's important that committees receive an orientation to these rules, policies, procedures, and laws before they begin. Speaking of legal issues, we talked about the protected classes a moment ago. In some states, veteran status or marital status or sexual orientation may or may not apply. So do you know what governs in your particular state? There's some do's and don'ts about asking questions about protected classes and other matters. It's good for the committee to have an orientation to these as well. Which questions I can ask, cannot ask. Can I ask, for example, about a person's immigration status in an interview? Generally speaking, the expert advice is that you should not ask anything that is not specific to one's ability to perform the work on the job. Leave the legal matters to the professionals, the HR professionals, the attorneys. Get their advice at the beginning of the process. The Americans with Disabilities Act is another example of laws that might affect how you invite and entertain a candidate on campus. Many states also have laws around reference checks. What can you ask or when you can ask certain information, such as does a person have a felony conviction, and can they pass a medical examination before they go to work or before you make an employment offer. Needless to say, there are a lot of legal issues that surround the search process, and it would behoove each committee to have an orientation to these before they begin their work. The next category of topics to discuss is the duties and responsibilities, the position description, if you will, for committee service. Each committee member should have an idea and should be informed about how the search process will unfold, its expected timeline, and their expected responsibilities and obligations around the process. One of them, for example, is confidentiality. It is important that committees keep their work confidential before, during, and after the search. It is very disheartening to find out that a committee member may have spoken about who was interviewed and who was not interviewed and who got a job and who didn't get the job and whether the chosen candidate was a second option or not or something related to that. It is a professional faux pas to discuss the deliberations of the committee, as I said, before, during, or after the search, and these sorts of matters and confidentiality should be covered during that committee orientation. It is a vitally important topic. The next and final topic is college-specific matters. Many organizations will have strategic goals and initiatives such as a research agenda moving from a more teaching focus to a more research focus, or maybe a service learning or assessment sort of approach where we're entering an accreditation time frame and we want to make sure that every faculty member has an assessment competency. And these things are very important to be covered at the orientation process to ensure, as we are screening and evaluating candidates, that this competency is looked for. Departments might have similarly specific ideas, such as we do not appoint people at the associate or full professor rank because of whatever particular reason, or we only appoint at that rank because of professional requirements or expectation for experience in the industry. Licensures or the requirement to teach online or requirement to teach at, say, in an off-campus center might also be another department specific item that can be covered in orientation at the beginning of the process. And then finally, some unique specific institutional criteria, whether it's a college or university, such as we only advertise in these venues, or here's the advertising budget that the committee must be aware of, or the recruitment requirements that we expect from each member of the committee, such as each member of the committee is expected to reach out to their professional network and share information about the particular vacancy that we have before us. You might have religious exemptions or other requirements that might come into play. In some organizations, no hire is official until after the trustees has certified that that hire is in accordance with policy. So boards of trustees might not meet until quarterly, so you may get an actual offer and it has a clause to say this hire or this offer is contingent upon the certification of trustees. Those sorts of matters should be covered in orientation so that a committee is fully informed of its role and responsibilities. And then finally, where can the committee get help if it needs it? Whether it is simple questions about the process, legal matters, or just tips, tools, and techniques, it is a great opportunity at that first committee meeting or any other training and orientation session for the committee to be briefed about how it can receive assistance from experts in the area. Usually those experts are those ex officio members that we discussed earlier. So that rounds out the topical areas, the what of the process. Let's summarize the things that we've talked about in today's training program. We said that search committee orientation is really a quality assurance process. It ensures that the committee performs its performs its work in the best possible manner with the greatest economy, efficiency, and effectiveness. Usually, the training and orientation process is delivered by an HR professional or similarly trained and informed professional such as an equal opportunity professional or layperson who receives advanced training or has some sort of expertise in the process. The first committee meeting is a recommended time to provide orientation, but it also can be scheduled training sessions such as the beginning of the year when anyone who is expected to serve on a search comes to a short training programs around what is expected for their service to prepare them for the year. Orientation can be provided in an online fashion such as a video or an e-course on training programs like this one here, and it can also be provided in a training manual on paper, obviously. Next, it should and can be delivered at the first committee meeting or any time prior to a committee member's service. A short 15 to 20 minute orientation program usually suffices. And the what that you usually covered in any sort of search committee orientation is the duties and responsibilities of a committee member, the policies, the employment policies and procedures of the organization, diversity and equal opportunity related matters, legal issues such as immigration, affirmative action plans, or any other similar matters, reference checks, background checks, and those that are required by local or state or even federal law. And then final topic for search committee orientation is institution-specific criteria that might come to bear on the program. So thank you for viewing one of our training videos. A complete library of free training videos is being developed, and you can be a part of defining which training programs appear by connecting with us and sending us your ideas and suggestions. At SearchCommittees.com, you will find a complete array of training resources designed to support the search committee process, including our book, our membership-based website, webinars, and access to free content such as our newsletter, our blog, and these videos. Connect and communicate with us and other higher education professionals using one of our social media channels. Thank you again, and good luck with your searches.